Mr. Quickie's coming through the field as well. Mr. Quickie's hit the lead in the Derby. Vow declares out after Mr. Quickie. Cariff No Boo and Elifris on the outside, but Mr. Quickie is still the leader from Vow Declare. He's running out Mr. Quickie, but he's in front. And Mr. Quickie's won the Derby by a length on the line to Vow Declare. Elifris ran third and fourth was No Boo.
Sometimes 3-year-olds can get out to 2400 just in spite of their pedigree and their staying ability, just because they're weaker opposition against their own age. But once they get to open age, they sort of need to be everything, all their ducks in a row, and this horse was a
Melbourne Cup, because he is a horse, as you said, raced throughout the winter and then a light spring coming into this race, huge in a Caulfield Cup, and then brave in a Melbourne Cup with Il Paradiso, maybe getting squeezed out at the last moment.
Yeah, it had been a long time since the 3-year-old sort of measured up off that Queensland Derby preparation to the good spring staying features, especially as a 4-year-old. Sometimes they can get there as a 5 or 6-year-old, but only a short turnaround, and the horse was kept in work right through, and he was super there.
Let's have a look at the contenders for this year's Queensland Derby.
Gates crash back and they're racing. They all began.
Explosive Jack is the headline act for this year's Queensland Derby as he eyes an historic 4th Derby trial.
But Explosive Jack, the Tasmanian Derby, the Australian Derby, and now the TAB South Australian Derby.
Standing in his way is stablemate Let's Crack a Deal, who finished second to him in the South Australian Derby.
Criminal Defence shot to a clear lead.
Local hope, Criminal Defence, arrives after a win in the Rough Habit Plate.
Criminal Defence in front. He's got a break. He'll hold on. Criminal Defence. It's a local win.
Second was Cucaracha, Bucharest 4th, and Toscanini 5th. Senor Toba rattled home in the Frank Packer Plate 2 starts back.
Senor Toba goes home to win the Frank Packer Plate.
The Chris Waller trained Fortified is hitting form at the right time.
But Fortified, a good win in the end by 4.5.
As is Achiever, who had to dig deep at Rose Hill.
Achiever's lifting again from the Keen, and Achiever.
Horrifying with Jamie Carr on board. Backs up from his win last week at Flemington.
And Horrifying's got its head down at the right time to just win.
Adding depth to the contest is lightly raced Maranoa.
Maranoa in front from Go Troppo. Maranoa took the guineas.
And Group 2 winner, He's a Shocker.
He's a Shocker won it.
Will it be a derby for the history books?
It certainly will be if Explosive Jack's able to win, and let's catch up with some very lucky owners.
It's been a pretty exciting ride for the connections of Explosive Jack, but it didn't really start that way, did it?
We go down to Kim Waugh and Jay Ford. Jay Ford looking for a double. It's
She got back there, and it's only a short little straight. So, look, I think she did well to finish strongly as she did with 60 kilos. She drops 1 kilo there. Have drawn a bit of a barrier just to
Dream Circle was just too good. Keegan Latham wins for David Payne. An inside barrier, kicked clear. April Rain just plugging away, and Caitlin, it looked like April Rain was going to run up to them, but just couldn't bridge the gap, and actually does not run in the money.
Yeah, she was flat, wasn't she? She had every possible chance, as you said. Maybe she needs some headgear, maybe. Oh, look, she wasn't too far away. In all honours to Dream Circle, he was up 4 kilos on that first up effort. I thought he was really brave today. He did have that nice barrier, and Keegan's riding really well at the moment, but Yeah, just that improvement from the first up run to the second up run was brilliant. They're really getting off the fence. They're coming down the middle of the track. But as I said, the disappointment there was the big grey there in the Autumn Suns colours, Hermitage Bloodstock. I'm sure she'll bounce back. She's certainly shown some true quality in those early starts.
Yeah, she certainly has. She was disappointing there, though. She had every possible chance by the time she got out, but the last 100 metres she was found wanting. So from Randwick, where Dream Circle knocks off the short price favourite in the second leg of the quaddie, we build up towards the first of our Group 1 features at Eagle Farm. It is the Mowat and Shandon Queensland Derby, with Explosive Jack trying to equal the deeds of the mighty Diana, the last horse to win 4 derbies. It was in 1972. Diana was trained by the legendary Bart Cummings. He won the South Australia VRC, the WA Derby, and also the WA Australian Derby, which was in for about 21 years, of course, trained by the mighty Bart Cummings. And this is where Explosive Jack has been going, everywhere.
Yeah, he's been around the Cape on the milk run. He's a tremendously tough horse, and probably reflective of Kiramar's horses in general. They're pretty much born on a truck. As soon as he buys them, they're on a truck to the breakers at Wangaratta. They come down to Caulfield, they go to Ballarat, sometimes they go to Sydney. They're not afraid to send them to Adelaide to race, and they're just seasoned. Even as late 3-year-olds, they've been travelling so much, and Explosive Jack just case in point. Not often they go to Tassie as well to add to the bargain, but he's well used to it now.
$1.7 million in prize money. It's a sensational story, and Emily, he was purchased at Karaka, one of many that have been purchased at Karaka in the one sale that are all racing from New Zealand, all here at Queensland.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? How many Kiwi-bred horses are racing today in this Queensland Derby? And would you believe, Richard, every single one of them has come from a different vendor. So it's not just one particular farm. It's a whole host of different people, and it's a breed in general. New Zealand horses have won each of the Derbies in Australia this year, plus the Hong Kong Derby. If a Kiwi wins the Derby today, Kiwi horses will have won 22.5% of all Group 1 races in Australia from 7.2% of runners. An incredible stat.
Oh, that is, isn't it, out of the one sale. So, Caitlin, how does the Queensland Derby be run and won? I can imagine Let's Karaka Dealer will be in front of Explosive Jack this time.
Yeah, I do, especially drawing that nice barrier. It's always a little bit hard to work out, but I think Sagacious from barrier 1 and Maranoa, they'll certainly go forward. Chiva won't be too far away. Horses like Senior Toba, I just wish had have drawn a bit of a barrier just to sit a little bit closer, but from that barrier, he's probably got no choice but to go back. Mr. G and Quiet Michael, they'll be back there. So the horses like Kukaracha and Let's Crack a Deal, they're going to get the best runs in the race.
Into the mounting yard we go for the Mowat and Shandon Queensland Derby over 2,400 metres, and the first horse to assess is the one that's done it all, but can he add a 4th Derby to his CV? A Tassie Derby, the Australian Derby at Sydney at Randwick, the big one, worth over $2 million, and then the South Australian Derby. Johnny Allen knows all about him. He knows him so well. He knows Eagle Farm so well. He won this race with Mr. Quickie, and the Mar Eustace team. Well, Kieran won it with Roofman. No horse has ever won the South Australian Queensland Derby. He's the right one to do it. And Katie, this is the danger. Let's Karaka Deal.
It is, and Ben Allen, of course, getting on the first flight out of Melbourne because he knows what a good chance he is here today, especially drawing that barrier. As you said, Richo, he can sit a couple of lengths closer. I thought he was brilliant behind Explosive Jack there. He's only a couple of lengths behind him, so it's going to be a couple of lengths in front of him in the race. It's going to be hard to beat.
Emily, here's Kukaracha for Chris Waller, who's got a huge hand in the race.
He's by Knight of Thunder, this horse, a Darley Stallion who's a 2-time Group 1 winner. He's also, Knight of Thunder, been best first crop sire in a 50-year history of European pattern racing. Well-bred, won the maiden on debut and has won since.
Here's another of Chris Waller's runners. It's the son of Pride of Dubai, who was a great sprinter, yet he's produced Achiever, who's having a crack at a Derby winner last start at Rose Hill. And Emily, here's Toscanini for the Mar Eustace team.
He's actually the most expensive purchase from that Karaka sale is Toscanini. Steps up to the 2-4 again, and was seen in the Australian Derby where finished 10 of 16, and hard to see him turning around that form. I think he's well held today. We've also got number 6 here, Criminal Defence, a last start winner of the Rough Habit Plate at massive odds. Just watching him walk around the parade ring, I was impressed with him. Plenty of size and length about this horse. It was a surprise last time, but I do think that this horse can go on with the job. We've also got the number 7 here, which is Bucharest, impeccably bred by Deep Impact out of Miss Finland. I'm actually really excited to see this horse stepping up over the 2-4 today. He's the right trainer-jockey combination, back onto good ground. Just a shame about the draw.
Yeah, I think he can run a really good race. The wide barrier is the problem. Here's the son of Shocking, who was runner-up in the 2009 Queensland Derby. Interestingly, Shocking ran the week before as well. He won at Caulfield on the 23rd of May and then came up and won a Queensland Derby. I think Horrifying's the value in the race and a good roughie. Katie, seen October.
Yeah, I will never forget Huey Bowman after he won the Frank Packer Plate. The first thing he said was, this horse has got Queensland Derby written all over him, and I thought he ran super in the Rough Habit. He really attacked the line there, and the only query I've got is the barrier, and Hugh's going to have to produce a really good ride to get him home, but he certainly has the ability.
Sagacious, well, Matty Dunn's decided to put the tongue tie on. Draws the inside barrier with Jason Collett, but needs to improve on what we saw in the Rough Habit, where it was well beaten. That maybe that tongue tie suggests it might have choked down. Marinoa, Katie, for Gay Wardhouse and Adrian Bott.
Yeah, this guy's beautifully bred out of a VRC Oaks winner, and she won a Vinery too. That was Faint Perfume. And then crossed with Schnitzel, a little bit of speed. He's done nothing wrong in his 4 starts. He's won 2 minor placings there. I think he'll really relish the trip.
Mr G ran 7th at Rose Hill behind Achiever. Was well beaten there, so this would be a leap of faith for the punters there. And Emily is fortified for Chris Waller.
Just a really unfortunate draw here with Fortified. Really hit its strap lately. A progressive type that's on the way up is drawn wide, which is a shame, as I said, when it's past 2 in Queensland. And not everything went its way last time.
15 is Calm Seeker, Matty Crop. And then we go to Here's a Shocker for the Price Kent stable. Has been gilded, a Kiwi making its Australian debut.
It comes through a run at Ellerslie, this horse. He's a Shocker. It was on a bog track that day and impressed, winning at around $76. He's really looking well here in the parade. He had a great colour to his coat. Wouldn't surprise me to see him running well. The firm track here today does concern me. 17
is Mount Mort Shark. And then, Emily, number 18, Chris Waller's Quiet Michael.
Another horse that's on the rise, Quiet Michael, comes through the same race as Rebel Rama, where it finished in 2nd and made up a stack of ground late, ran the best last 800 metres. A big ask, obviously stepping up in grade out of a Zabeel mare, and Humidor actually features in this family too.
Ben, let's have a look at the market, the Queensland Derby.
It's taken punters a little while to warm up to Explosive Jack, but the Derby winner just keeps on winning. So they're launching in this time and they've finally woken up, I suspect. Explosive Jack is our favourite. Senor Toba at $6.50. Let's Crackadeel at $7. Kukaracha at 10, 15 or more the remainder. Horrifying does have good support, but 11 out to $18.
So Chris Waller has 6 runners in the Queensland Derby. Here he is alongside Emily Bosson.
Chris, you've got the 6 runners, as Richo said. Market has Senor Toba as favourite. Got back and made up a lot of ground last time. Tell me about him.
Well, he's going very well. He's a horse that's really improved in his 3-year-old year, and his form this preparation has been good. Last start we went back from the wide draw and he made up a lot of ground, and we were hoping for a better draw today. So to see the barrier next to his name when the barriers came out, 21, it was devastating, but we've got a good jockey in Hugh Bowman aboard. The instructions to Hugh was simply leave it to you, Hugh. And he's very good in these big races, but he'll need a little bit of luck.
Fortified is a horse that seems to be on the up. Is that your opinion too?
Yeah, it is. He's flying the flag for the Queensland stable for sure. His form up here has been very good, and he's got that winning feeling, obviously in much easier races, but he was very impressive last start, and it looked to me as though he'll get a 2,400 metre distance.
Of the others, Kukaracha, Achiever, Bucharest and Quiet Michael, which one are you most excited to see step out today?
Hard to say. Look, I think we haven't drawn well at all. I'm proud of all of them. It's good to have so many runners in such a big race, and it's a great day's racing. So as long as they run well, I'll be happy. Kukaracha's got the best draw. He'll be right there with the 200 metre mark. Hopefully he can stay 2,400. That might be my tip.
Good luck.
Thanks.
So Chris Waller with 6 runners in the Derby. Any of Chris's the hot horse, Ben?
No, it's from the Mar and Eustace stable. It's Explosive Jack. As I said, punters are finally warming to this horse. $2.50, trimming in from a peak of $2.80. There is a bit of support, though, as I mentioned earlier, for Horrifying, even though it's 11 out to $19.
So the hot horse is Explosive Jack, and Emily, we're moments away from the Queensland Derby. First run in 1868, one of the Australian classics, but such a New Zealand flavour each and every year.
Yeah, exactly right, Richo. And I think Explosive Jack is the horse to beat. He's just quality on quality, isn't he? And I love the way when John Allen sat up for the photo last time when he knew the race was won, Explosive Jack didn't slow down. He still just powered to the line. It's just whether he handles all of this racing, but he's in the right stable to be able to do that. A couple of ones at longer shot odds that I think could run a big race based on their looks. Criminal Defence and also the 16 He's a Shocker both look great here in the pre-parade.
I thought at least Let's Crack a Deal can defeat the stablemate, and my roughie in the race is Horrifying. Katie, a thought on the Queensland Derby?
Yeah, it's a great race. I'm really looking forward to it. As I said, I'm with the grey Senior Toba. I just think that Hugh Bowman, he knows what it takes to win a Derby. He won it 4 years ago on Ruthven for Kieran Maher, and of course then he teamed up with David Eustace. I think he's got a great hand in the race with Explosive Jack, and it'll be some training effort to see that horse win his 4th Derby, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, let's just get out of the way and move over to the man that's actually trained the winner of a Queensland Derby, and Henry Dwyer. Henry, who wins?
I think the Mar Eustace stablemate to the benchmark, obviously, and I could probably have Let's Crack a Deal turning the tables on Explosive Jack. He's the one that's probably been targeted more towards it, whereas Explosive Jack, as we spoke about earlier, has probably been everywhere, but he's the type of horse that can deal with that. I was, similar to Chris Waller, devastated when Senior Toba drew 21. I thought he was the horse to beat in the race before that, but he's going to need so much luck from out there. He's just going to have to take his medicine and go back and hope for the best. And interesting to hear him give He's a Shocker a bit of a rap from the mounting yard. He was good winning the Trelawney stud over there, and Mick Price has sort of spoken quite effusively of his staying ability and his stamina, and I think he's a horse that can, if not today, measure up to some better staying races in the spring. And it's a real test for David Fowler. I tell you what, the stablemates, Explosive Jack and Let's Crack a Deal, have very similar colours indeed as well. Just to add a little bit of confusion, but it looks like Ben Allen's actually going to put the red cap on today to differentiate. That'll make it a little easier. All right, we're moments away from the Queensland Derby. It's always been a classic on the Australian racing calendar. The 144th running, Chris Waller with 6 runners in the race, and the Mar Eustace team with 3. And Larry Cassidy looking for his 4th win in the race. That'd be a story. Can Bossy turn back the tables and win his 3rd? Huey Bowman looking for his 2nd, and Johnny Allen is the Derby king. Can he get an 8th Group 1 Derby in Australia to add to his Tassie Derby winners? There's so many storylines. Here's David Fowler. He's ready to call the action.
One other there, Senior Toba, and they'll run from outside gates. So Explosive Jack runs at $2.50 in the Mowden Shandon Queensland Derby. The big field of 18 are just about ready to be dispatched from the tab gates. Senior Toba joins them. The starter turns on the red light, picks up the button, and now we're ready. Stand by for a start. A good line. Racing. Senior Toba out wide again nicely. He's a shocker, maybe missed it by a length or so. And Explosive Jack, he's going to settle, I'd say, worse than midfield. Let's go to the top. Marinara and Achiever drive forward with Criminal Defence. Let's Crack a Deal and Sagacious. Bold Executive ridden forward. Then Cucaracha, Mr. G and Bucharest, followed by Quiet Michael. Explosive Jack back on the rail with about 6 or 7 behind him. Now, Senior Toba is going to go forward, but in the process, he'll be 3 wide. Horrifying just behind him with Toscanini and Fortified over on the rail. Then He's a Shocker, and the crop stablemates are second last and last, Mountmort, Shark and Calm Seeker. That's the first call of the Derby as they go to the side. 17.50 left to run. Marinoa takes it up. Bold Executive slots behind it, and Achiever is 3rd. Now that trio spear away by about 4 lengths. Criminal Defence 4th, outside of Sagacious, 5th on the rail. Then Bucharest outside of Let's Crack a Deal. About 2.5 lengths into Mr. G, who's covering over on the inside Cucaracha. 3 to Senior Toba, has got in 1 off. And he's outside, guess who? Explosive Jack. The two big guns of the betting keep company down the back straight. Then Quiet Michael outside of Fortified, ahead of Horrifying, followed by Toscanini. Then came He's a Shocker. Second last was Mountmort Shark. And Calm Seeker last, 22 lengths off the lead. Along the back straight of the Derby, 1100 left to run. And the leader was Marinoa. A length and a quarter to Bold Executive. 1.5 away, third Achiever. 2 lengths away, fourth Bucharest. Then Criminal Defence on the outside of Sagacious as they round the back turn, which takes them to the side. Let's Caracadere next in Clear Air, and then came Cucaracha over on the inside of Mr. G. Senor Toba and Explosive Jack still race together. 8 to 9 off them at the 700 metres. Then Quiet Michael, Fortified, Horrifying, Toscanini. He's a Shocker, Calm Seeker and Mountmort Shark. The leader Marinoa. Bold Executive moves closer. Criminal Offence goes up, 3 out. 4 wide, Let's Caracadere. Then Achiever needing room, followed by Bucharest, Mr. G. Then came Sagacious. Now Senor Toba's coming to the outside, and then came Explosive Jack, who's trying to wind up between runners. They're spread across the track. Achiever took the lead. Explosive Jack is getting through. Cucaracha is there. Senor Toba down the outside, a live chance. Achiever in front. Explosive Jack now shot the gap. Cucaracha goes with it, and Senor Toba goes with it. He's got a battle in his hands, Jack. Senor Toba and Cucaracha. Cucaracha and Senor Toba. They reach the line. Photo finish of the Derby. Cucaracha and Senor Toba. Explosive Jack third. Achiever ran fourth. Then Horrifying, followed by Bucharest, Fortified. Then Toscanini. Let's Caracadere. Sagacious, well backed, was at the head of the others. Criminal Defence. He's a Shocker. Then Marinoa. Calm Seeker, Mountmort Shark, Bold Executive, Quiet Michael, Mr. G, last over the line. A photo finish in the Derby.
Photo finish. Cucaracha will put its nose down in front and win the Derby for James McDonald in a brilliant ride. J-Max able to win. He adds a Queensland Derby to his New Zealand Derby that he's got on his CV and his ATC Australian Derby on the mighty done deal. That was a brilliant ride, helped by an inside barrier, but Cucaracha wins. And for Chris Waller, he goes first and second in the Derby, with Cucaracha just defeating Senor Toba. Explosive Jack was brave and a great ride from Johnny Allen. He ends up running third. 3, 9 and 1. And Chris Waller adds another Queensland Derby. He won it with Hawkspur. He's won a Victoria Derby with Preferment. So he adds another one to his CV. And Emily, it was a thrilling derby. Chris Waller trains 1, 2 and 4.
An incredible race. And what about when they sort of turned for home and there was just a line of horses spreading across the track? And isn't it great to see these two jockeys go head to head, because Hugh Bowman and James McDonald will be Australia's one of Australia's two best, and to see them battle it out, and Cucaracha just giving its all in the closing stages, and Hugh Bowman throwing Senor Toba over the line. I thought Explosive Jack really good in third. You could just see perhaps the wear and tear and of him having travelled all around, and just a little bit dour here today. And 4 obviously finishing in that 4th spot, another one for Waller, as you mentioned. And I thought another horse that made up some nice ground was Horrifying as well, so a nice run by it too.
Let's hear from Chris Waller. The 21st time he's quinelled at least a Group 1. He's a remarkable trainer.
First of all, they were 2 great rides by McDonald and Bowman.
Yeah, we were. It was a tough barrier draw for the stable. James had the best draw, so we won't give him as much credit, but for Hugh to be able to slot in and get him where he did was a special ride, and he just come into the race nicely. And I thought Explosive Jack kicking with all the form on the inside, I thought, oh, well, we're going to run a nice second or third, but to both their horses' credit, and Lofty and the team up here, they've done a great job. They've done a fantastic job with this horse, and the Sydney horse, Senor Toba, almost knocked them off.
What have you thought of this horse coming through?
We had a great opinion of him as a 2-year-old, and he sort of lost his way a little bit. And typical story, he was gilded and just taken through the system. He ran a good race up here in the Grand Prix in the summer, and I just wanted to give him some experience on this track. It wasn't racing that well then, and I think maybe that's been a good move, because yeah, his run on the Queensland Guineas was good. Last start in the Rough Habit was good, and today was brilliant.
You've won Doncaster's Golden Eagle for Neville Morgan. You know where I'm going.
Yeah, you do.
But for him to win here in Queensland, for you to give him a Queensland Derby, I'm going to try my best. Stay with me. This is a big moment for Neville and for what you've done for him.
I've got a lot of great owners, and I'm very lucky to be in the position I am.
He's such a proud Queenslander, though, isn't he?
He is. The Magic Millions win with his mate Dave Devine and all his friends and family. He's a very special person.
Well done, Chris. Congratulations on another Derby.
You got me.
Oh, it's brilliant stuff. And James McDonald, he'll be Australia's champion Group 1 winning jockey for this season. There's no doubting that now. Quickly to Caulfield, rider of the Queensland Derby on the other side as we build up to the second of the Group 1s, the Kingsford Smith Cup. But a thrilling Queensland Derby with Kukaracha winning for Chris Waller. Chris's 15th Group 1 for the season, which is remarkable, 126 in his career, and J-Mac, he'll be the champion Australian jockey, 8 Group 1s for the season, 54 in an unbelievable career. Let's hear from the winning jockey.
Oh, J-Mac, that was outstanding. That was fun. That was exhilarating. That was everything to watch that last 100 metres.
Too close for comfort.
Wasn't it?
Oh, gosh, I was praying all the way. I even asked the people who live over the back. I said, who got it, who can't? And they're going like this. I'm like, oh, you know, help. God, it was a bit of a hard old canter back, but no, I just wrapped. Lukey Dittman, who's been riding on me, he said today he'll be cherry right all week, and he's done a marvellous job, and great horseman, and get him to settle the way he's settling, and yeah, for sure, he's just a good horse who deserved it.
Was your plan always to ride Kukaracha? Because obviously you rode Senor Toba last start.
I got no say in what not we ride. Chris makes the decisions, and I was lucky enough to be on the right horse today.
Yeah, the tempo looked pretty genuine throughout.
Yeah, it was lovely. It was lovely building work. I probably should have waited a little longer at the top of the straight, because I got into a little bit of trouble. But he was the right horse to get me out of it. He's got a great turn of foot, and the strapper knew we won.
The strapper knew. Neville and Jenny Morgan, they're just the most wonderful of Queenslanders. However, they've got to be blessed with God's luckiest owners.
I think they are, but they have the right man buying the horses, and Guy Mulcaster, and they deserve all the success they get. They're lovely people who live and breathe racing. They love their horses, and they always have a significant amount of good ones. So very, very rapt for them.
If you would have picked your own ride out of all of Chris Waller's, which would you have picked?
Senor Toba.
Well,
so
lucky he doesn't.
They say jockeys are the worst decision makers, so I'm glad I don't have that choice.
Well, there's only that much in it.
Thank you.
Might be a bad decision maker.
Giano half in front, and neck in front. Mitzi lunges. I think she just missed.
Saver 2XL blasting along in the lead, but it's Forster. Saver 2XL takes the Goodwood by 2 lengths.
Geetra at the 100 over on the far side. It's Geetra in front. Geetra has won it.
Trekking's after Geelong. It's in front, Geetra and Trekking got up to win final stride.
Vega 1 is hitting top stride, sprint to the lead, running on powerfully redouble. Vega 1's got a margin, Vega 1 won the cup.
It's Sosie Bon, and Sosie Bon is going to win the race twice. Sosie Bon from Mr. Quickie.
And Trekking with Karen McAvoy. Since becoming a Group 1 in 2006, only one winner has come from a double-digit barrier. That's the big query for Trekking. We'll have to go back. James Cummings won the race with Impending a couple of years ago. There's a sense of timing about Trekking, though. I loved his run in the Doomben 10,000. He was just playing on a wet track first up. He'll improve today and is going to take a power beating. Emily, here's Geetra.
He's another who's really entitled to improve. Although he didn't go as well as expected last time, he was still placed in the Goodwood, and that was his first run since October. So I think there's a huge amount of improvement in this horse, and he can tighten up considerably. Unbeaten at 1,300 metres, and that was where his last victory, the distance it was at.
He was beaten 2.4 lengths in the Goodwood by Saver 2XL. So Can he turn the tables? Well, the advantage he does get is he meets him so much better off at the weights, Guitra. Savitu XL will go forward. Just going to query him right at the end of the 1,300 metres in this class, especially at weight for age. Here's Special K, Kementari.
He's a hard horse to pick, isn't he? Comes through the all-age stakes and was only beaten a length and a half there. And the last victory that this horse has was in Western Australia in a Group 3. Wonder if he likes a holiday.
Caitlin, Victoria, this would be a story for Jenny Graham.
Yeah, it will be. And look, he's got a liking to Eagle Farm. He won the Victory Stakes here at Group 2 level. This preparation, he had post-race issues there in the Canterbury Stakes, but he bounced back in the Hallmark with a nice third there. So, look, he's a horse that you must include. He did run 8th in this 2 years ago. Horse number 7, Sosi Bon. Well, this guy by So You Think's actually the highest money earner for So You Think. So, look, he's been an honest horse all the way through. Willow takes the ride from Mark Zara. He's drawn a nice barrier. Horse number 8, Nicanova. Well, he's got a tricky barrier to contend with, but he does love the track. He's never far away. He won first up at Group 2 level and beat Vega 1, who we're just about to look at. Last preparation, he was 3.5 lengths behind Very Elegant in a Wink Stake. So I think you can include him.
Emily, here's Vega 1.
Vega 1 certainly wasn't disgraced behind Eduardo. That was when 4th in the Doomben 10,000. Never out of the money at this trip and does look fit and ready to go. More than 500 days since his last win, though.
And Jonker for Tony Golan, who's alongside you, so be nice.
Yeah, Jonker looks like a key chance of this race as well. And as we spoke about a little bit earlier on, looks like the horse that's going to push forward. Brings Eduardo form too, but this one through the Group 1 Galaxy. 9 weeks since that last run, so has been freshened.
Senior Fox doesn't have James McDonald today, has Ryan Maloney. Whether he's up to weight for age is going to be the big query here. He's a really progressive young sprinter. I say young because he's a 5-year-old, but handicap's probably better for him. Blaze Jowski, ditto at a handicap. You'd think he'd be right in this race, but at weight for age and the same sort of weights as Guitra and Trekking and the like is a huge task for Blaze Jowski, second up from a spell. But Emily, I think this is the girl they have to beat in Savatiano.
Really like Savatiano, such a versatile type of horse. Won 3 in a row before the all-age stakes, where just missed out. Key thing is loves that 1,300 metre distance and won the Canterbury Group 1 at this trip. Best in a fresh state and comes here in that state today.
And Huey Bowman missed the last Group 1 by a matter of centimetres. Outback Barbie yet to run in the top 3 at Eagle Farms. One query for her, and weight for age Group 1 levels the other query. She's going really well for Tony Golan though. This is the best roughing the race for mine. It is Dame Giselle. C. Siren, the last 3-year-old filly to win the race. That was back in 2012. Dame Giselle, an element of quality about her. All right, they are the key runners leading into the Kingsford Smith Cup. Let's hear from Tony Golan.
Tony, you've got 3 key chances in the race. Let's start with Jonker, a horse who looks like he'll be able to push forward. And what do you expect from him?
Yeah, I expect that really. I expect him to lead from the front. He's a nice horse that shows lovely speed. He loves good ground, so this track should suit him. He's very firm out there today, and he should be able to high ball up on top of the pace. Hopefully get a breather for a few furlongs and give a really good kick inside the furlong and a half.
He didn't get that clash with Eduardo. There was a little bit of a setback. Has that affected the prep at all?
Probably hasn't really. We raced on a genuine soft track that day at Doomben, so I suggest that it's probably a good thing that he missed it, to be honest. He's much better right on top of the ground, and he gets the right sort of conditions today. I'm fairly confident we've done plenty with him. I'm really happy with him coming in.
Vega 1 and also Outback Barbie, your other 2 chances. Tell me a little bit about them.
Yeah, Vega 1, he's been off the scene for nearly a year before the start of this prep from last year's Stradbroke. He had a minor setback, and he's been building along really nicely. He loves Eagle Farm. He's got the services to Jamie Carr, which is always important, as you know. Got a bit of a sticky barrier, so I'm just not sure where she gets in the run on him. But horses that like Eagle Farm tend to race well here often, and I certainly see his form good enough to be in the finish.
And a quick comment on Outback Barbie?
Oh, she just hates Eagle Farm. She hasn't got a good record here, so she's got to improve off that terrible record.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Ben Way, let's look at the market here for the second of the Group 1s.
Just during the week at $4. Now we're talking $6 and peaked at $6.50. Trekking at $8 is on the third line. Nicanova at $8.50. There's been some specking for Vega 1 into $12 now, having peaked at $15. Savitu XL at $14. Caused that surprise last time. Jonker & Co. 14 or more. But favourite is Savatiano.
And the hot horse bet?
Going a little outside the square here, Vega 1, $15 to 11, back out at 12, but some good each way support.
So the car factor, the hot horse is Vega 1. Emily, just quickly, your top selection?
I'm going with Savatiano on top, but I think Geektra will improve considerably off that fresh run.
And Caitlin's with you with Savatiano.
Yeah, great minds think alike. I'm with Katie and M, Savatiano. I just think 1200, she's always hitting the line. 1400, she just struggles at the end of it, but 1300 is really in that sweet spot. She's 1 for 1 at the track and distance, Eagle Farm 1300, and she's going to get a lovely run, I think.
Oh, she's got a beautiful run in transit here. She's going to be the one to beat as we look at Jamie Carr going forward. Here's the second of our Group 1s.
Started with the button. Racing. Good line out. Jonker hits the ground first. Dame Giselle began nicely. Savatu Excel whizzing across from out wide. Kementari about fourth away, and Victoria right up there in the thick of things. Followed by Geektra also going forward. Savatiano a little further back than we anticipated. Trekking is a bit deep. Nikanova following him up, and then came as they go around that first bend, Panino. Getting back towards the tail was Senior Fox, and the last one was Blazejowski. Vega 1 as second last. Down the side, 800 left to run. Jonker under restraint. Leads by 1 length. Racing second, Savatu Excel. Geektra doing it tough in the cheap seats, 3 wide. So Sibon fourth over on the inside. They're followed then by Dame Giselle, then Savatiano. 3 wide with cover, trekking 4 wide. Kementari over on the rail. Followed by Outback Barbie, and then came Nikanova, Victorum, Senior Fox, Blazejowski, Panino, and Vega 1 whipped them in the straight. 300 left to run. Jonker leads away from Savatu Excel. On the outside, Savatiano. Trekking is starting to lose strongly. Dame Giselle getting up near the inside. Nikanova was too far back. Jonker in front, tricking, given full bore. Through on the inside, Senior Fox coming home strongly and beyond. Here's a good finish coming up. Jonker still in front. Senior Fox coming up. And Vega jumped down nowhere and won. Vega 1, I don't believe it, has got up to beat either Jonker, Senior Fox, and up there as well, Savatu Excel with Trekking, Victorum, Dame Giselle, Savatiano, Nikanova, Outback Barbie. Then came at the head of the others. Well back was Sosi Bon, Panino, Kementari, Blazejowski, and Geektra pulling up quickly towards the tail. Vega 1 has jumped out of nowhere to win.
She stands on top of the mountain now, Jamie Carr. She's the greatest Group 1 jockey in Australian history as a female. That's her 6th career Group 1. She goes past the mighty Michelle Payne. They were equal with 5. No female riders won more Group 1s in Australia than Jamie Carr, and she's done it all in a couple of years. She is a sensation, and she was able to go where angels fear to tread. Have a look at her in the yellow colours. Breathe in, go left, go right, do it all at 60 k's an hour with your toe in the irons, with no brakes on a 550 kilo animal. It is extraordinary. What a talent she is. That was a sweet ride. And Emily, we just get a little bit of cream on top of the cake for Jamie Carr. She's a champion.
That was just unbelievable, wasn't it? What about her impeccable sense of timing? Gets there just comfortably on the line. And I bet for Tony Gollan it was an emotional roller coaster, because he thinks Jonker's going to win, then Jonker's going to be beaten, and then suddenly from the clouds comes Vega 1. And I'm having to watch this replay a few times, because that position Jonker came from, as you said, just threading a needle-eye gap to get through and sweep up over the top of them. And obviously she had plenty of horse underneath her. Vega 1 gets the Group 1 win for Tony Gollan.
We're so lucky to have Caitlin Mallion as part of our team. She's one of 11 female jockeys to win a Group 1 in Australia. But, Katie, no one's won more than this young lady. What a star she is. 6 Group 1s. We'll get to you in a moment, because Tony Gollan's now available.
The maroon win, all right. Tony Gollan joins us now. Tony, how good is that feeling?
Oh, mate, that's so good. Just so proud of these horses. Like, his horse had a major injury last year after the strut broke, and had a long time. They rehabbed him really well down there in Victoria. Come back, and it's been a long-range mission to get here and then into the strut broke with him, and this doesn't get any better. I tell you, this is great. And Peter Anastasia here, and, you know, it's just a great feeling. And I didn't know where to look. I thought Jonker was going to hang on, and I'd seen him behind a wall of horses, and all of a sudden off he went. So that's unreal, you know. 1-2 here in a Group 1 at home, and this is home now, so it's fantastic.
And this horse, you mentioned that he broke down last year, and it's been such a long road to recovery. Not only did he break down, but then he matured into this really big chap. It's been a battle to get him fit.
Oh, we've had a torrid time with him actually this prep with a few little niggles, and it's just amazing. I was really happy with him after his work here Tuesday morning, but we were on a knife schedule for him going to be here this week. Just little things, little minuscule things going wrong, but it's just so rewarding today. And you know, Jamie Carr doesn't ride obviously very often up here, but geez, I hope she comes back a bit more often.
Jamie Carr, superstar, not for nothing, right?
That's correct, mate. They got it right with her in Victoria, that's for sure. And she's done a great job. There's no instructions, a bit like James the other day on Barbie. There's no instructions today. Just do whatever you want to do on him, just ride him how he feels. And spoke to Peter Anastasia about that exact comment prior to the race, and we were very confident and relaxed going into it, and horse did a great job.
We love your work, Tony. Well done.
Thanks, Bernie. Cheers.
Tony Golan gets a Group 1 Quinella there, and Caitlin Mallion will hear from Jamie Carr after the break. That was some ride.
Yeah, she's a champion. She just lets the race unfold. She doesn't get fazed by it, whether it's a Group 1 or a midweek race. I just think she just reads the play so well, and the horses just genuinely run for her. And as you said, she did have to wait for it to open up, and she looked like she was going to be unlucky, but she got the job done. She is a true champion.
History to Eagle Farm. We'll hear from that young lady on the other side of the break. What a thrilling victory there. Vega 1 wins a Group 1. How brave are these jockeys? Have a look at the jockey in the gold colours, back last, shuffling, trying to get out, cannot get out, eventually going at 60 kilometres an hour. She's about to put the nose in there, and Vega 1 is right up to the task. And Jamie Carr goes where no female rider's ever gone before. 6 career Group 1s. Let's hear from the winning jockey.
Jamie Carr, superstar. We love her. Everybody in Australia loves her. And today, that's 6 Group 1s for you now, the most winningest female rider in the country. Congratulations.
Oh, no, they want to kick me out.
They're not allowed.
No. That's unbelievable. Awesome. I wanted to get held up on him, but not that much. I needed to run desperately in the end and go SA racing, yep.
The tempo looked to slack off mid-race?
Yeah, it did. I was in a lot of trouble on him. Look, I've got to thank Bossy. He came up to me, told me everything about this horse, and I wanted to get held up on him because he exposed him and he thinks about it. He overthinks things, and so thanks to Bossy for letting me know all those little tricks, and amazing.
Amazing. We don't get to see you here very often in Queensland, but we were stoked to see you riding for our leading trainer, Tony Golan.
Yeah, yep. I met Tony a long time ago when Sunlight came up here, and I've ridden for him before a few times, but that definitely tops our list of winners.
6 Group 1s, but we feel as though you're just getting warmed up.
I hope so. I hope you're right. This year's been unbelievable, and I've obviously been trying to stay in Melbourne as much as possible, but when opportunities like this come, you have to take them, and I've been very, very lucky with the horses I've got on.
Super job, well done.
Thank you.
So 4th Group 1 for the season for Jamie Carr. What a season she's had, the star of the show. So we turn our attention to a place that she'd normally be riding, and that is at Caulfield. We've got more feature racing to come up at Eagle Farm. Still one to come at Randwick. Thrilling day of racing at Eagle Farm today. What a derby we had with Chris Waller Quinella-ing the derby, with James McDonald just defeating Huey Bowman. Kukaracha defeats Senor Toba. J-Mac 8th for the season. And then we went to the Kingsford Smith Cup and we had another Quinella, but this time it was the leading trainer in Queensland in Tony Golan. He Quinellas it with a ride for the ages from Jamie Carr. So let's sum it all up. Emily Bosson's alongside Nathan Exelby to tell us all the news out of an incredible day.
It has been an incredible day, Richo. Nathan, it's thrilling. There's been some incredible horses. We'll kick things off with the Fred Best for the 3-year-olds, and we saw Apache Chase run them ragged.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So Apache Chase goes into the Stradbroke with 49.5 kilos. Desley Force will make application to the stewards that Jim Byrne can ride 1 kilo over at 50.5 kilos in the Fred Best, in the Stradbroke. So presumably the stewards will give will grant that wish. Ayrton, he may well go to the Group 3 Gunsynd on the same day.
Okay, great. And out of those Group 1s, the Derby and the Kingsford Smith, the Derby, Cucaracha, goodness me, it was a thrilling finish, wasn't it?
It was a thrilling. Like Hugh Bowman's ridden so well today from bad barriers, but found one or two better. Now I asked Chris Waller, would either of those two horses go to the Q22, obviously the new $1.2 million race that we have in a fortnight on Stradbroke. So much revolves around Zaki, who's just dominating that race, but he said he will give strong consideration to running one or both of those in the race, in that he thinks it's a good race that's been put on, deserves support, but he'll just weigh that up over the next 48 hours.
It was awesome to see those two jockeys as well, Hugh Bowman, James McDonald, two of our best battling it out.
Absolutely, and like Hugh Bowman got into such a beautiful position from Senior October from that awful gate, but the other one just outstayed him in the end.
We had another Quinella, as we heard from Richo in the Kingsford Smith Stakes, and of course Tony Golan getting the Quinella there, and as Richo said, treading where angels fear to go, Jamie Carr.
Yeah, she has, and she's denied Jim Byrne there too. Jim's probably not going to be in great mood because he's going to starve himself for the next fortnight to try and get down to that 50.5 for Apache Chase, but terrific ride, Jamie Carr. Now Vega won. He now goes into the Stradbroke with just 53 kilos. Last horse to do, Thorn Park did that double in 2004, but previously the races ran the other way. And Campaign King back in 1988 was the last one to do the double in the Stradbroke. So it's not an oft-done double, but Vega 1's well placed now at 53 kilos.
Yeah, certainly is. He was so impressive, wasn't he, Nathan? What about the change in the programming? From afar, it seems like the Queensland Racing, by changing the programming, Derby comes on to Kingsford Smith Day. It seems to be a great success.
With the COVID restrictions, they're hoping to get to around 10,000 Stradbroke Day compared to what it was sort of 20,000 a few years back. So they're the sort of numbers we're working with these days, Richo, in terms of it's so much more corporate hospitality now as opposed to the walk-ins.
Thrilling is exactly the right word, Richo, as they turned for home with a wall of horses. Wasn't it just incredible? You didn't know which way it was going to go. The two Chris Waller contenders battling it out, Senior October and Cucaracha, and of course Cucaracha coming out on top, but both of them certainly getting brownie points for a stellar effort. Explosive Jack losing no admirers on what he's done. No doubt he'll go out for a well-deserved break and he'll resume in the spring still with all that talent, but all the credit goes to Cucaracha for the New Zealand bred.
And what about Jamie Carr here? You over in New Zealand, you would have heard a lot about her. You've seen her in the flesh now. She just makes things happen.
Oh, she's unbelievable. And her sense of timing, as I said after the race, just impeccable. And I think Caitlin said the horses just run for her, and that's exactly the case. And just coming through gaps that are so narrow, but just to have the assessment of the horse perfectly. And we heard that post-race where she said, I wanted to be cuddled up for as long as possible. And that's her attention to detail, and that's what sets her apart from a lot of other jockeys.
Caitlin, what did you make of Ayrton? Were you as disappointed as others were on Ayrton?
No, I wasn't at all. I just think this is the first time we've seen Ayrton under pressure, and I think he got a little bit lost. I think Dean Lester said earlier, and he'll learn a lot from today. I think eventually maybe he might even be a little bit of a blinker horse. He still looks like he's just not sure what he's doing just yet. I haven't lost anything from his performance today. And in the sires, well, it's worth $1 million, Em, so they must have an eye towards getting it up to a Group 1 status, the sires produce. Tiger and Malay wins by the Freedmans. What a two-year-old season they've had. And Craig Williams in the saddle there with a
Australasian Oaks gates open, they're off and racing, pounced out of the gates like a cat. Media Award, Ripperita, they sweep up to hit Cirilio Miss, who's fighting strongly the rail. Media Award, personal late, Media Award's in front, Media Award, it's hers to savour the Australasian Oaks.
Well, what a story that was. Media Award, and Caitlin, an opportunity for that South Australian Oaks winner to come up, or Australasian Oaks winner to come up and have a crack at the Queensland Oaks.
It's been chilly all day, Richo, I can tell you that much. It's been a wonderful day. Last weekend, so different in comparison to today. Zaki, of course, a demolition job. And this week we had such competitive Group 1 racing. It's been an absolute thrill, and we've seen some stars out of those younger horses as well.
Great. And